Giants football, Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Don't forget to like and, of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel at MC Show Digital as we talk sports with you each and every week. It's time to go inside the Giants. We do that every week with our Giants insider. He's from Big Blue View. Let's welcome him in. It's Ed Valentine. What's up, Ed? How are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
All right. Today's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Crest Cadillac. We'll hear a little bit more from our friends at Crest in just a little bit. Ed, let's get right into it. Snoopy Bowl happened. Giants bragging rights. You can see I got the shirt on in honor. I just want to, rip my partner here right next to me about this one. A pretty emphatic performance by our Giants. Let us gloat a little here, Ed. What did you love about this Giants performance here in preseason game number 2?
Well, I think what I love overall is this is the 2-0 New York Giants, undefeated New York Giants. It's like, when's the last time we've ever been able to say that? And I mean, I know it doesn't count, but it's still nice to win back-to-back games. And I mean, there's been a lot to love. I mean, the Giants have 65 points in 2 preseason games. They've scored, obviously, it's, a second and third team defense. But when's the last time that the New York Giants in any game ever scored 30 points in back-to-back games?
Yeah,
so you got to love that. I mean, you got to love the quarterback play that the Giants have been getting. It's just, who knows how it's going to translate here in a couple of weeks when we get to the regular season. But right now, I think when you get around this team, you feel like they're not surprised. And, I said this to somebody the other day. For the last couple of years, it felt like guys were trying to talk themselves into thinking that they were a good football team. Okay. And it feels more like with this team, they expect to be a better football team. They expect to be good. They're not surprised. I talked to Turbo Miller, the running back, the other day. And he's had 2 really good games. And I asked him about all these screen passes that they've been succeeding on. And he said, that's what we should do. He's like, I'm not surprised by that. That's what we should do. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to execute that play. And, so I think there's just a bit of a different feeling about this team than what I'm used to.
Ed, do you feel that? Wait, what is that? Oh, is that Jaxson Dart breathing down the neck of one Russell Wilson? Because
I thought for a minute that was a creepy phone caller.
I know.
Which
like this, Boy Green.
Oh, there you go.
A little
much
more
better.
like.
Yeah. There you go. But in all seriousness, that was I did get to see the Giants-Bills preseason game, so I already saw Jaxson Dart's quote-unquote preseason debut, but I saw his debut again against the Jets for a home game, rather, his home debut, and man, Jaxson Dart just looks like he could get ball from point A to point B. Looks like there's a confidence there. Looks like there's a moxie there. Scores a touchdown. Gets some selly action, as the kids say. So, Ed, how close is he the unquestioned QB2 behind Russell Wilson? How close is that? What's going on there?
I think that's very interesting, okay, because the plan, the assumption for what the Giants were going to do is start Russell Wilson, have Jameis Winston as QB2, have Jaxson Dart as QB3. What we've seen through the entirety of training camp and what we thought was because, Dart needs the reps and Jameis Winston's been in the league for 10 years and really doesn't need them. We've seen Jaxson Dart get a lot of second team reps while Jameis took third team reps, and kind of expected that to flip once we get to the regular season. Right now, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. Brian Daboll was asked again the other night if there was any chance that Jaxson Dart could push Russell Wilson, to be the early season or week 1 starter. And Daboll said no. He said Russ is the starter. But I think that what Jaxson Dart is doing is sort of narrowing or shortening the runway that Russell Wilson has to struggle. I really do. I think he's shortening that runway because, yeah, it's vanilla defense and all of that, but he's done everything you could ask. He's done everything that the Giants wanted to see. He looks like the real deal, and he sounds like the real deal. And as you said, he's got some swag. He's got some confidence, and you got to love that. And you know, when's the last time you saw that from a Giants quarterback? I don't know that we've ever seen it, because Eli didn't really do that demonstrative stuff. Daniel Jones doesn't have that in him. So it's unusual, and I think it's a good thing. I really do. I think it's a good thing. So yeah, I think that Jaxson Dart has, what he's done this summer is really give the Giants confidence that they can go to him at some point. And you know, if Russell Wilson doesn't get it done, if it's stagnant, then maybe that change comes earlier than any of us thought.
Speaking of rookies, let's talk about Abdul Carter. I got to see a little bit more of him in this second exhibition game. And Boy Green is very excited about one thing that happened in that game. Not the score, not the way his quarterback played, none of that stuff. All right. But what he is excited is about the one play that Abdul Carter got pancaked. Go ahead, Boy Green. Roll it out. Throw out your evidence. And Carter, by the way, did react to this on social media. Go ahead.
Let's see.
I saw a body flying out of there.
Yep. They got chipped by the tight end. Stone Smart stoned him.
So there's the play. And if you want to throw up the reaction too, Boy Green, Ed, I'll let you talk all about it.
Well, if I could give Abdul Carter any advice, and he's not going to listen to me because he doesn't care. If I could give Abdul Carter any advice, it's don't do this garbage. Don't do this. Go to social media and throw out, you know, reactions like that and go back at teams or whatever. Just don't do it. Just go play football. You're not going to see the New York Jets again this year. So what does it matter? You know, you got knocked on your butt. It's the NFL. It's not the last time that's ever going to happen. Just go play football and get ready for week 1 against the Commanders. But, you know, just leave it be. Why bother with this nonsense?
These kids, Ed, they have to react. And in all due respect, compared to you and me, Abdul Carter, a kid. Go ahead, Boy Green.
Yeah, right. I was just going to read the quote for people. It is this is what Abdul Carter said in response, right? So the NFL posted the clip and said, watch the chip block from Jets tight end Stone Smart and Abdul Carter. And on Instagram, they put the same clip up and said, welcome to the NFL, Abdul Carter. And Abdul Carter responds to saying, quote, might be the only highlight of the Jets all season. And we put BTA, which according to UrbanDictionary.com, that means beat that ass, apparently. Thank you for that. And then he added on, weak ass chip ate that MF like barbecue. So interesting, Abdul Carter.
Yeah, just let it go, Abdul. It doesn't matter. You know, let it go. Go play football. But again, you know, I'm an old man and I don't see the need for that. Of course, when I think about stuff like that, I have a question.
No.
Has any current professional athlete ever done a workout without posting it on Instagram or TikTok, an off-season workout?
I know.
Well, Ed, here's the real question. Did the workout even happen if you didn't capture it on Instagram?
Right.
Absolutely. You know, it's like, isn't that your job to get ready for the season? Why do you have to post the fact that you're working, you know, on social media? So I don't know. But that's a different generation. That's just me. I'm a crotchety old guy.
All right, let's do some follow-up, Ed, because there are some players we talked with you about last week before this Jets-Giants game, and now we have seen them on the field. So let's talk about each individual's performance. Let's start with the wideout, Jalen Hyatt. We talked about him. Could he be on the bubble? How critical is his situation in terms of making this roster? So what did you make of what Hyatt did? He got a lot of action in this game against the Jets.
He did get a lot of action. He only had the one ball thrown to him, but he did make a nice 21-yard catch coming off the goal line that got the Giants out of a situation, deep down. I think it was at the 2-yard line. What's clear is that Russell Wilson trusts Jalen Hyatt. They've got a good relationship. Hyatt will be on the football team. We'll see. We'll see what it translates to. But it was nice to see Jalen Hyatt make a play, and it was nice to see that it wasn't just a run down the field and catch a moonball kind of play. Excuse me. It was off the goal line. It was a nice route, and so that was nice to see.
So you don't have any doubt he's going to make this roster?
I don't have any doubt. When I look at it, look at the wide receiver depth chart, and they only had, Hyatt had 8 catches last year, okay? And he should be better than that, but they only had Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Darius Slayton catch a representative number of passes last year. They haven't added anybody to the roster. I don't know who makes the roster beyond Neighbors, Robinson, Slayton, and Hyatt. I don't know that I trust any of those guys to be real wide receiver depth. So I don't know how you move on from Jalen Hyatt.
Well, the one guy I'm kind of intrigued by, just preseason results, of course, is Lil Jordan Humphrey. And not only did we see him catch that touchdown that we showed last time we got together, but he's a different looking guy to this Giant receiving corps because of his size. So talk a little about him, and does he have any chance of making his roster?
Oh, he most definitely has a chance. I mean, 6'4", 6'5", 225. The Giants, they love him in the red zone. They love to throw him that fade, that jump ball, that 50-50 ball. He's going to be bigger and stronger than any cornerback he goes up against in those situations. We've seen Jaxson Dart throw him that ball. We've seen Russell Wilson throw him that ball. The hard part with Lil Jordan Humphrey is it always comes back to special teams for those last couple of guys, who are making the roster at a position like wide receiver. And he has played very little special teams in his career. So that's an interesting one is can he play specials? What can he do on specials? Lil Jordan Humphrey, the rookie Bo Collins, Gunnar Olszewski, Amir Smith-Marset, Zach Pascal. There's a whole group of guys, and I'm not 100% sure how the Giants are going to sort through those last couple of wide receivers at this point.
Yeah, you brought up Bo Collins. Obviously, he made the crazy play, the one catch for 80 yards, quality over quantity for Bo Collins, the undrafted free agent, Golden Domer, as my father likes to say. What did you make of it? Because, moonshot for Russell Wilson caught the Jets defense, Andre Cisco, Syracuse guy, caught him with his pants down there as he got a little aggressive on the play. That was massive, a kickstart to the Giants to sort of set the tone for the game.
Oh, Collins has had a good summer, and you can tell that the Giants are curious because he's gotten he's gotten a fair share of first-team reps. He got early opportunities on Saturday with Russell Wilson, of course. But shoot, on that play, guys, Russell Wilson threw that ball, I think, 62 yards in the air from where he let it go. And this is a guy who supposedly doesn't have much arm left. But considering how high he throws that ball and how far he threw that ball, I wonder what the actual distance in the air actually was. We need the baseball StatCast to figure out the launch angle and the actual distance in the air, because I was like, whoa, that ball went a long way.
Yeah, exit velocity, all of those.
Yeah, we need the exit velo on that throw. We need all of that.
Very true. That's the one thing this Giant quarterback group, you talk about them as a group, and you mentioned this last week when we chatted as well. There's no lack of arm strength. I mean, Jameis Winston had a seed that he threw down the sideline as soon as he got in the game. And Jaxson Dart certainly doesn't seem like a guy who's having any trouble zipping the ball in there when he needs to.
Well, the big play changes everything. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I saw a stat recently about how often teams score when they get a play on a drive of at least 15 to 20 yards, and it's significantly higher, when they get a play of that distance than when they don't. You can grind out your 12 play hour and a half drive if you need to, but that's hard to do. It changes a lot when you can make that big play, and Daniel Jones and even Drew Lock with his strong arm didn't know where the ball was going, and the Giants just weren't able to do that the last couple of years. That big play is now part of the Giants offense again, and that has to be a good thing.
Manchild Show with Boyd Green Digital. Don't forget to like our video. Also subscribe at MC Show Digital. We'll close it in on that 300 subscribers, Boyd Green. That David Tyree still sitting right above me, going out the door to one of our first 300 subscribers. Beautiful autograph. The Catch in a frame coming from my wall right into packaging and right into your living room. So please subscribe today if you don't already. Today's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Crest Cadillac. Let's just take 30 seconds, learn a little bit more about our friends at Crest.
Cadillac certified pre-owned vehicles, exclusively available in Central New York at your participating Cadillac dealer, Crest Cadillac. Each one must meet high standards and receives a 172-point inspection, along with a 1-year unlimited mile warranty after the original warranty expires. Come into Crest Cadillac in Syracuse today for exceptional offers on Cadillac certified pre-owned models. CrestCadillac.com.
All right, we're back talking Giants football with Ed Valentine from Big Blue View, talking about the performance in the Snoopy Bowl against the Jets. Giants a winner in that game. And one of the guys that everybody was waiting to see, Ed, was this guy. We've spent a lot of the last couple of years talking about him, Evan Neal. He is a mountain of the man. There's no question when he's in that huddle, he's easy to spot. Evaluate Neal's performance in this game. He needed to have a good one. Let's talk about it.
Well, I thought that Neal was fine. All right. And I understand you go to Pro Football Focus and you look at his grade, and it's not impressive. But I'm looking at the fact that he hadn't played guard since 2019 in a real game. And that was a freshman at Alabama when he did that. So this is something obviously he's had practice reps, but this is something he hadn't done in a very long time. I was looking for positives. I was looking for good plays, and I thought there were a pretty good number of them. There were a couple of bad plays. There was one play where the defensive tackle sort of got outside his shoulder and got a hit on Jaxson Dart. But I think there's reason for optimism with Evan Neal. The size, the power, the fact that he can really anchor against these big, strong guys. I think he could be a really good run blocker. And we had a chance to talk to Neal after the game. And I don't think that I have talked to Evan Neal when he sounded that positive and that optimistic and that happy in a long while. So I remain optimistic that this will work for the Giants. Greg Van Roten is a perfectly adequate placeholder in that spot, but it would be so good for the Giants if Evan Neal can win that job. He's still a 25 or 26-year-old guy, with a future, and we'll see where it goes. But I thought it was a solid beginning for Evan Neal at the guard spot.
Let me just do a quick follow-up on Evan Neal. I'm curious here, Ed, if this has gotten any more play since. But Evan Neal went viral. I'm going to throw this up on the screen when he said this about Giant fans and some of the criticism he's received, saying, why would a lion concern himself with the opinion of a sheep? The person that's commenting on my performance, what does he do? Flip hot dogs and hamburgers somewhere? That got a lot of heat immediately on social media. Does he get any flack still for these comments he made?
No, I don't really think he does. I think that Evan Neal made a mistake, and he clearly knows he made a mistake. He was frustrated. You should never, ever, ever go after the fan base. You just shouldn't do it because you're never, ever going to win. Okay. You're never going to win. And that comment is, he's never going to live that comment down. The other comment that he's never going to live down is the fact that a year or so ago, it might have even been 2023, when he started being asked about potentially moving to guard. He said, "I'm a tackle. I stepped out of the womb as an offensive tackle." So, so at the time, he didn't really want anything to do with this guard talk, but he has accepted it. I think he sees that his path to playing time, his path at this point to getting another decent paycheck after this year, which is the last year of his rookie contract, his path is through playing guard. So, yeah, so he has undoubtedly said a couple of stupid things, but undoubtedly, but I've been around him enough to know he's a good guy. He's strong-willed. He believes in himself, and I'm sure he wishes he could put those comments back in the bottle.
See, back to the if we could give these guys a piece of
PR.
advice,
Yeah,
be
the
like,
PR.
Yep,
quiet, don't say anything, don't respond to detractors.
Well, we love it because it gives us things to write about and things to talk about. We love it, but you really shouldn't say it because we are gonna beat it to death.
Yeah. I always say to Boy Green, we've talked about this for years, and now as we're in the digital world, probably we should be talking about it probably even more. There are always going to be people who criticize you, that don't like you for whatever, the way you look, the way you talk, the way you act, what you say, whatever it might be, your opinions. And I always say to Boy Green, why do you when you respond to someone who just is giving you nothing but venom? Okay, you're validating that venom because now they know that they're getting to you, that you're reading it, that you're processing it, and that you have to have a response to it. And I think the best weapon for that kind of behavior when it's put on against you is ignore. Ignore now takes it out of play. Like you said with Abdul Carter, we started this whole conversation with that. Abdul Carter doesn't need to address being pancaked. He's going to get pancaked in the NFL. There isn't a great defensive player out there who hasn't at some point been pancaked. So get on with it. Hey, getting pancaked in an exhibition game, essentially that doesn't really mean anything other than you're just trying to get reps and get ready for a season. That's the worst time at which you should ever address something like this. So it's the old silence is golden thing. I just think it's good advice for any athlete. Just let it go and move on and go about your business and don't worry about the chatter.
Yeah, absolutely. It just, but these young guys now, they don't think that way. They're on social media so much. They want to clap back at everybody, and it's not productive. It's just not.
All right, let me get this one in. One of my final ones here for you, Ed. Is it just the Tyrone Tracy Jr. show in the backfield? Is he just the man and he's going to get the bulk of the carries? Or will it be the cliche term running back by committee?
Well, there's going to be some running back by committee, but I'm guessing at this point that it's not going to be the committee that anybody expected it to be. Cam Scatterbo, the very exciting, impressive rookie out of Arizona State, 4th-round pick. The kid's been hurt. He hasn't practiced now for 2 weeks. He barely practiced in the spring, to be honest with you, and they didn't tell us what the deal was. But I suspect he's dealing with a hamstring now, and he may have been dealing with it then as well. I would not be surprised if Cam Scatterbo starts the season on IR. Designated to return because he hasn't practiced in a while, and they're not going to do a whole lot of padded physical practice the rest of the way. And Scatterbo's not going to play in the game on Thursday night. So I wouldn't be surprised if the backups for Tyrone Tracy are Devin Singletary, who I've told people for months now, it makes no sense for the Giants to cut him based simply on the salary cap implications. But because the Giants are going to take if they do that, they're going to take a big hit in dead cap money. And right now, Singletary's running back 2, and Dante Miller, the kid, speedy kid that was on the practice squad last year, is having a really good summer, and he's running back 3. So I don't think Tyrone Tracy's going to get 25 carries a game, but he's clearly running back 1.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, give us an update if there is one, Ed. A lot has been circulating about the lack of practice time for Malik Neighbors. I think we're now closing in on 2 weeks of not practicing. So a back issue. Can you tell us what you believe the issue is? And then again, I know last week you said you fully believe he's going to be out there on opening day. Are there any greater concerns here a week later?
I still believe he's going to be out there week 1. We still have, amazingly, the Giants have the one preseason game left to play, but we still have almost 3 full weeks before the regular season starts. It's an amazingly long break. It's 16 days after Thursday night's preseason game before they play a regular season game. And I find that absurd, but I don't, but in terms of Malik Neighbors, I don't have any doubts that he'll be out there. The concerning thing is he's 22, 23 years old. And yeah, it's not the toe injury, but he banged a shoulder earlier in camp and missed some time. And now he's dealing with a back injury, and they can call it minor if they want to, which is what they're saying. But he's missed 2 weeks with it. He's missed 2 weeks worth of practice with it. And whether he played in the preseason games or not, those 2 weeks of practice with Russell Wilson would have done him some good. So the annoying thing, the concerning thing is that it's one little thing after another. And, and when is the kid going to be fully healthy?
All right, Ed, always good catching up with you. We're getting closer and closer to the season. As you said, though, we still got a few more weeks, but we'll keep chatting with you every week. So thanks again for spending a little time with us this week.
Oh, thanks for having me as always, guys.
All right, there he is, Ed Valentine, Big Blue View.